So for a long time, I've been working as an urban planner in a variety of different communities, cities, and towns, and just really interested in some of the challenges that cities and towns face when they experience changes. And for a long time, the kind of changes I was really interested in was when they grew. And I started actually my career in central Massachusetts when places were growing, a lot of new houses, farms were being eaten up by subdivisions. And what happened was I went through a little bit of transition. I began to see that while the problem of growth is an important one, that not a lot of people were paying attention to the problem of decline and disinvestment. And I began to notice that when factories were closed, there wasn't the same kind of energy and enthusiasm to deal with them. There wasn't the attention to lasting environmental contamination and devastation that was left behind when a military base closed or a supply depot closed. So I began to be interested in that, and I got a chance to work with the federal government and the Public Building Service, which is part of the United States General Services Administration, and got to be involved in base closure, military base closure, and got to be part of finding new uses and dealing with environmental contamination on those kinds of properties. Yeah, so some of the stuff that I teach in my courses at Tufts can be very complex, can be multifaceted, and I feel like the best way for them to learn is to get out into the field, to meet with community partners, with local leaders, to visit sites, and to get a hands-on experience where they can actually be involved in reusing, revisioning contaminated, abandoned properties. So, I mean, the most gratifying part of my work is when I get to be involved in addressing real problems that real citizens face, and to kind of step down from the ivory tower a little bit and to be able to affect positive change, especially dealing with disadvantaged communities. A lot of places that I've worked in my experience, people don't necessarily feel like they're empowered, and so to be able to apply some of my background and experiences to be able to help them address some of their problems in their community. Some of those challenging part of my work is very much tied to that, which is that it can be very hard. There are some really serious entrenched forces that, for one thing, try to repress dissent, try to restrict the voices of the disempowered. And so that can be very frustrating to kind of face that head on and to have to explain to my students that that's really how the world works. And you know, we believe where I work in preparing students to be practical visionaries. You know, we want them to be able to see the future, to see possibilities, but we want them to understand that there are some real limitations, and we try to teach them how to be practical about it. So the challenges that we face as a society cannot be addressed by a bunch of academics and our students. This is a problem that we need to engage and energize ordinary people, and we expect problems will be solved on their own, and they don't. And so it's really critical that people understand the places they live, they understand whether it's environmental contamination or pollution in their neighborhood, and that they work to study those facts, and that they learn those facts, and that they can be in a position to apply those facts in the policy process and to be part of being an agent of change.